Hey friends, welcome back. Today I want to talk about this buzzword that I hear a lot in the debt-free community, and I realized that if someone is not kind of living this lifestyle or is new to this debt-free journey, they might not know what this means. And so I wanted to talk about what it means for us and give a little bit more information about living intentionally. What does intentionality mean? What it means to us, and maybe as much as I can, a general definition that might help you kind of understand what people are talking about when they say they're living intentionally. If you're new here, my name is Allison with Baby Stepping to Freedom. My husband Aaron and I paid off $125,000 of debt in 28 months, and I get on YouTube to share our journey and the things that we learned along the way. If you like what you've seen, please consider subscribing to my channel, follow me on Instagram, Baby Stepping to Freedom, and check out my blog, babysteppingtofreedom.com, where I share other resources and tips and just kind of our life and how we live this way. So what is intentionality and living an intentional life? What it means for me might be different than what it means for you or someone else on their debt-free journey or whatever journey, really. I mean, this intentionality can apply to a lot of things in life, but I want to share what it means for us and how it has helped us along the way, because living intentionally has been really one of the keys to paying off debt for us and being so successful in our debt-free journey, because this intentional living has really changed our life. So intentionality can be kind of hard to define. There's not really one clear definition to what living intentionally means. But for us, living intentionally means you're making decisions based on your goals. So every decision we make is based on what goals we're trying to reach. And we're thinking about those goals every step along the way. In order to live with intentionality, you really have to have a goal. You have to set the goal, and you have to know what the goal is. And then you have to come up with the steps and the plans for how you're going to reach that goal. You can't reach a goal without thinking about how you're going to get there. And sometimes you might not know every single step along the way, but if you're not living the life that is required to reach that goal, then reaching that goal, whatever it is just going to be harder and harder. So intentionality means I know what my goal is, I know what it takes to get there, and I'm going to follow these steps along the way to reach that goal. For us in our debt-free journey, this was constantly evaluating every decision that we made along the way. Is this decision something that is helping us reach our goal? And you know, we were not perfect, we're still not perfect, and sometimes we made decisions that did not help us reach our goal. And it's really about balance and always getting back on that intentionality train, choo-choo, on your way to your goal, because you might fall off, you might make a decision that's not really going to benefit your goal, but as long as you are consistent about making choices that make sense for your ultimate goal, that's how you're going to reach it. So for us, it was creating a budget, sticking to the budget every single month, following our plan and knowing what we were working towards to be able to pay off as much debt as possible. There were a lot of times that we wanted to spend money on other things. Sometimes we did spend money on other things, and other times we had to ask ourselves, is this something that makes sense to help us reach our goal? Is this something that we really need right now? Or is it really a want? And is that want something that overrides the want of being debt-free? And that is intentionality at its finest. Thinking about our decisions and weighing pros and cons every step of the way. What we learned along the way is that sometimes living intentionally means that you have to make uncomfortable decisions, do uncomfortable things, do things that might be a little unconventional or that people might be confused about. But that's because not everyone lives in an intentional way. Lots of people make decisions based on what feels good versus what makes sense. And sometimes what makes sense isn't what feels good. And so doing what makes sense more often than what feels good is not really the norm in our culture, and it can sometimes be a little weird to people. So knowing and planning for those uncomfortable situations that are a little unconventional when you are trying to live intentionally is a good plan, because it's probably going to happen where you have to say no to doing something, or you have to do something different from what everyone else is doing. And that's okay, because you're working towards your ultimate goal. And hopefully that ultimate goal is more important than whatever things you are saying no to or turning down or whatever it is. So some questions that I like to ask myself when I am trying to be as intentional as possible, and I'm not always super intentional, but when I am really trying to make intentional decisions, questions I ask myself: will my future self thank me for this decision? Is this something that I'm going to regret in the future? When I look back at this decision that I'm making right now, am I going to regret it? Or am I going to thank myself? That really helps put my decision into perspective, whether it's buying something, whether it's eating something, whether it's going somewhere, anything like that. Will I thank myself, or will I regret this decision? Also, more importantly, is this decision helping me reach my goals? Is it that important that if it's not helping me reach my goals, that's okay? Because sometimes it's okay, but if not, I need to know, is this decision helping me reach my goals or not? And finally, I kind of mentioned this before, but the question, is this a decision I'm making because it makes sense or because it feels good? Because sometimes what makes sense does not feel good, and we want to make decisions that sometimes feel good, and that's not always what's going to help us reach our goal. So does this just feel good, or does this make sense? That's a really important question to ask yourself as well. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video helped you kind of get into that intentional living mindset. It's hard to get into sometimes, but it really does help along the way. If there are some things that you ask yourself to kind of help you stay on track and live intentionally, let me know below what those questions are. I always like to learn new ways to help stay on track and help be more intentional in all of my decisions that I'm making. I will see you guys next time. Bye.